Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Texas Outlaw Running Talk Show. This is your host, Briston Rains,
And your co-host Carley Rains.
and today we have a very special episode for you, where we talk about
How,
training. Oh, wait, I'll let you go ahead. Ladies
all
first.
right, we're talking today about how to balance your running and training with family life.
And we have our daughter, Briley, in here. She's looking at me right now. And so if you hear some crazy noises going on, or Carly has to get up and leave and go do something, just know she's in here. And not only are we talking about how to balance training and family life, but while we talk about that, we get to balance family and work life at the same time. So it'll
Me,
be a good episode.
yeah,
Briley is, I don't know, like 10 months old or something.
yeah,
And she is sitting in her seat, playing with her giraffe and looking at us. So, it'll be a good time.
yeah. And I, I think at our races, the majority of the people at our races are families. I think a lot of runners are middle-aged, in their later
Briley wants to chime into the podcast.
in their later 30s, 40s, 50s. They have kids, or maybe they're just starting to have grandkids.
Briley's trying to contribute to the podcast over here. I don't even know if they can hear that,
Okay, okay.
but
I'll just keep going. So I do think the majority of our runners are, they've had kids or they are having kids. So this is hopefully going to be helpful for you. This is something that
you need to go put her in there.
Yes,
And okay,
yes.
okay. Hey, we're still keeping the show rolling. We don't do edits, okay? We don't do any edits at all. But Carly and I are going to get into and talk about how we manage training. 'Cause both of us weightlift, both of us run, and we have a daughter. And I know sometimes people consider their dogs as kids. We got two dogs. Honestly, dogs are so much easier than kids, in my opinion. But um, anyways, in this episode, though, we're going to get into that, how we manage Carly running, me running, Carly strength training, me strength training every day. Someone's obviously got to watch the baby. How's that work?
And we also live in a place where we don't have family.
Oh yeah. So we're pretty much so we're solo
Yes.
over here, so we have to take turns with the baby. So
Yes. I
anyway,
I want us to start by explaining,
here, I'll give you that.
okay, you want this one or you don't want one?
You got it.
Okay, I want us to start by explaining what running and training was like before getting married and before having a baby and how it's evolved with getting married, with getting a job, work life, and then with having a baby.
Yep. So before having a kiddo around. We could just wake up whenever we want, put on some shoes and go run whenever.
Yeah, it was very flexible, especially in
Yeah.
college with your college schedule. I mean, you could run. We would have 6 a.m. practice, but on days where we had to run on our own, I mean, you really got to decide like when do I want to go run. You had so much flexibility when it came to training for a race. And then we got married. I had already graduated, so I was working full time. Briston was still in school. And working full time while trying to train is already exhausting enough. I mean, you're going to work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you're trying to figure out, do I want to run in the morning? Do I want to run after I get off work? In the summertime, do I really want to heat train after I get off work? And I think, you know, no offense to guys, but y'all can just shower and get ready for work in like 10 minutes. And for us girls to get ready for work, it takes longer.
It
Like
depends on the
it
woman.
I think the majority of women would agree though, it takes a lot longer. And so you have to consider that. Like how long is my workout time going to be? And, how far is my commute to work? Can I work out during lunch? If I do work out during lunch, how sweaty am I going to be for after
Yeah.
work?
All right, let's hop into this. Are you gonna do
So we're gonna give some tips and advice that works for our life, but also that we've looked up online. And, I will say the biggest thing is you have to do what fits for your family because not every family dynamic is the same. So what works for Briston and I might not work for you, and that's okay. We're just giving our tips and advice based on what has worked for us and then what ChatGPT listed as some tips and advice based on,
That makes it sound so degrading. Like, oh, ChatGPT came up with it. Now,
well, no,
okay,
it's
well, hear us out.
Google.
Hear us out. A lot of this stuff that we're talking about is our own stuff that we've
Yeah.
learned and used that might be ideas for you. So
Yeah.
just know this ain't all AI generated. Like a lot of this has personal touches, and we just asked AI, hey, you have any other ideas, basically.
Yes.
So, but the first thing is plan ahead like a pro. So I'm gonna let Carly start this one off of number one, how to plan ahead with training and having a family.
Okay, so I really liked this. It said treat it like appointments. You really have to schedule it in like it's a meeting or a school event. And especially for a race that you're training for, or maybe a triathlon or something like that. I like that because if you have a family calendar, usually families with smaller kids, you have some type of calendar where you all look at, hey, this is what's going on. It's really nice because I'm learning like Briley really wants to be involved even though she's only 10 months. And so seeing that and seeing, hey guys, like this is coming up and it just gets the whole family excited. When Briston signed us up for a race, even when we were just married, it let me know like, okay, he signed up for this race. Like he wants to pursue these goals. Is passionate about this. So like I need to, be supportive in his goals and what he's trying to accomplish. And I think really the biggest thing is I understand that it's your goal and you're pursuing it, but especially if you're married to another runner and you're both runners like we are, you have to humble yourself. And there are going to be times where you don't get your run in. And there are going to be times where your partner wants to go run or your partner wants to go lift, and you have to watch your baby or you have to watch your child. And you have to know, like, you really do have to work as a team. And, you know, on Wednesdays, Briston usually takes a rest day. And so I've asked, hey, Briston, on Wednesdays when you take a rest day, like that's when I want to go run and I don't want to have to push the stroller. Because pushing the stroller is basically weight training.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah, and there's some families that they'll lift together, run together, and bring their kids along with them, and that's fine, and that works. But it definitely depends on your living situation. So currently, with our living situation, unfortunately, here in East Texas, where we live around and live, they don't have anything that supports the ability to push a stroller on everything. So we can't always take Briley with us to go run at certain places just because there's no access to safe places to push a stroller on. Um, and so like where we live right now, like there's a little area for us to push a stroller and run, but it's kind of monotonous loop. Um, and it's not like some of these bigger cities to where you have these really nice neighborhoods and sidewalks, or you have these really nice neighborhood streets where you can just go run 3 to 5 miles on the neighborhood streets and push a stroller the whole time. We don't have access to that. We can maybe do like a quarter-mile loop with a stroller, and that's about it. So we're pretty limited on what we can do together as far as bringing Briley along with us. It's
Yeah.
very difficult. When Carly goes to the gym, she brings Briley with her and either brings her pack and play or her stroller and does that. When we run, um, typically Carly will push Briley in a stroller, or I'll stay home, watch Briley, and then Carly will go run
Yeah.
and I'll watch Briley so that way she can go run. Um, but yeah, and going into number two, maximizing time efficiency. I would say the best way to fit your training in or your running in is gonna either be super early in the morning or late in the evening. Pretty much one of the two, it seems like. Um, if you wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, you'll be able to get your family involved. And obviously, we're not we're not the most experienced parents. We're pretty new parents, and like we're saying all this, but we don't have 5, 7, 8 year olds. Like we don't have 3 or 4 kids, so this could all change. But we're just throwing out some ideas. Um, but
Oh, I will say with number two, one of the things it says is do quality over quantity. And I think that as parents, that is super important that you don't want to do junk mileage. Like I understand, you got to get your mileage in and you got to get to a certain time. I mean, I'm training for a marathon, but also you have to think if I'm running at 4, 5 a.m. in the morning and I got to give 100% the rest of the day to my work, and then my kid has a 7 p.m. ball game and I got to give 100% there and I got to drive home and all this stuff. I mean, to be honest, you just really have to weigh like, can my body endure for that long? And some people, it works great for them. Me, honestly, I mean, with having to starting to work full time and watching Briley, and we volunteer, at our church with our youth and do different stuff. There are some days where I'm like, you know what, 4 miles is enough. I might walk a mile if I want to get an extra, 5 miles, get the 5 miles in. But I have to think like quality over quantity, and can I still give 100% the rest of my day to my family, to my work, to my other responsibilities aside from training? Because I think that that's very important with stewarding our bodies and our responsibilities in life.
All right. For when it comes to involving your family with your workouts or your races, there's a few different ways to do that. So personally, when I was a kid, my dad would go run, and sometimes me and Tate would ask, or me and my little brother, we would ask him if we could join him on his run and bike next to him. And one day he said yes, and we did. And like 2 miles in, we were already tired riding our bikes and we're crying to go home. And needless to say, after that, we never joined him on a run again. But um, you can, I mean, depending on how fast, how far you're going, your kid's capability, you can let your kids bike alongside you, or you could push the stroller if they're pretty little. That's a way to kind of bring them in on your workouts. Obviously, I thought it was
Yeah.
pretty obvious. But I like this one though. So when it does come to race days, making it like a family event to where you have your kids come with you on race day and they get the crew or cheer you on. That's a good way to incorporate them. Be like, oh, well, that's why mommy or daddy was running every morning to train for this big thing, and we get to cheer them on, you know.
Yes, I really like that one. Involving your kids and on the day of the race, bringing everyone. We kind of talked about this on the last episode, but we don't want you to show up to the race by yourself. We want your family involved, your kids involved. It's an exciting time. So I also think it teaches them the importance of serving a community, volunteering, cheering for other people when you're not on the spotlight and not racing. I think it gives a lot of good characteristics to kids and shows them, good qualities that they should build as people.
All right. Let's deep dive. Let's go into some things that are a little deeper here.
Some
Um,
challenges.
yeah, I'll let you go ahead, and you don't have to do that one. Feel free to skip past that one, Carly,
Okay.
if you want to.
I just want
You
to
don't have to do all of them, but
just want to say that, growing up, my mom really did set a good example for working out. She worked out consistently in our living room. She trained for half marathons
was
and
your
a marathon.
mom like kind of mom in the mid 2000s that'd be watching the DVD disc where they did workouts on TV and she's in there.
Yes, she was like following the group.
And then they have the easy workout options and she did the easy workout options.
No, they did, her and my dad did like P90X and like
That's hilarious.
stuff like that. Yeah,
In 2000,
they did that.
Phoenix.
Yeah,
Nice.
they were dedicated though.
I remember, did you ever like join them in their workouts? I would.
Well, so no, my mom was like, she'd be working out and we would like pass by to go to the kitchen, but we'd get caught up in like watching her or watching the TV and the workouts and stuff. And my mom would be like, go to the other room. Like, I'm trying to finish my workout. Like, she did not like us watching her.
Well, yeah, my mom would do this same workouts like P90X or whatever. She'd turn it on in the living room and be doing her workouts. And then me and my brother sometimes would join her and try, and they were actually hard.
Yeah, they were.
I used to like think, oh, that's easy. Like, there's some old ladies on TV doing it. I was like, oh, I can do that. 8-year-old me, and then I
Mhm.
get to doing it. It was pretty rough.
Yeah. But you are setting a powerful example for your kid. I mean, I love this. seeing Briley, she doesn't talk yet, and she does what we do. Like she mimics what our actions. So I'll like when I open my mouth, I'll stick my tongue out, and every time she opens her mouth, she sticks her tongue out, or she just does little stuff, and it's really showing me that your kids are gonna listen more to your actions than they are to your words. And so if you show them like,
Yeah.
hey, working out is important, taking care of your body is important.
So basically, if you're lifting a big 50 pound bar, doing some training in the gym, your 8 month old's gonna do the same thing.
Nah, maybe.
Your 8 month old is gonna crawl over and start hitting some 50 pound reps, mimicking.
Maybe one day. But okay, and then I don't want to give this to the moms out there because I think a lot of moms struggle with this. You're allowed to have goals outside of being a parent or a spouse. And I think that we can get caught up in, married life and then get caught up in mom life, and that becomes our whole world, and we forget to actually pursue things that and goals that we want to accomplish. And it is a huge temptation because it takes up so much of your time. Like being a parent takes up so much of your time, and family life does. And you can get caught up in just the mundane of waking up, going to work, going to your kids' thing. And one thing I will say that my parents did a very good job at was making sure that as kids, we understood that we weren't first in their life. And I think that that has become a default in America is kids think that they're first in their parents' lives. And don't get me wrong, kids are important, but like I want Briley to, and you've even said this, I want Briley to understand that like we come first and then she comes first. And so, just making sure like not to be selfish, but to say like, to show your kids like you can pursue your goals on top of life responsibilities.
Yep. And then so whenever you are training, it's important to communicate pretty clearly with each other on um what y'all are doing. So just letting each other know, like this is something we should probably do better at, but just letting each other know, hey, like I'm gonna go run in the morning, and get my run in. Can you, watch the kids or um I got this big run and I'm gonna be gone for however long, or just letting each other know what's up, like what you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
communicating.
and if you do that, I think that'll help out. So that way you're not waking up and then the other person's kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So that's really important to do. But I really like the last part. Um, know your why, number 8, last thing. So it could probably get pretty discouraging having a family and then trying to work out. Just because like sometimes like kids will keep you up all night or kids will get up in the morning and do whatever, and it can kind of get demotivating because you're like, oh well, I don't have time, or
Or
oh
you're
I stayed
scared.
up all night because I'm tired, right?
Yeah.
But it's important to know like why you're doing what you're doing, and so um, it's good to have like a physical visual reminder each day to keep you going. Um, Whatever that is, like let's say you sign up for some big marathon or something or some big ultra marathon and you're training for that, take a picture of it, make it your wallpaper. I don't know, print it out, put it on a mirror, put it on the fridge, and just remind yourself every day, like this is what I'm training for, and and keep that visual in mind, and that'll kind of keep you motivated because it's like, well, I stayed up all night, doing this, and then I got to run this many miles in the morning. When you get up, you're not going to feel like going and running, but if you get that visual in mind of like, okay, well, I have to train for this, it'll help motivate you to do it. So,
Yeah. I
um,
want to say one last thing before we move on. I liked number 6. It says use shortcuts that help. And so it talks about like pre-planning your meals because that'll shorten your time. If you're like, I don't have time, okay, well, what areas are taking up a lot of time that you could shorten? Probably cooking if you pre-planned meals. And then also, this is really good. Just the power of cross training. and doing things at home that, maybe aren't ideal for running, but that still you get a good workout in. When I was in postpartum and Bradley was just so little, that's what I did. I just did, you can literally go on YouTube, there's free videos. And especially for your moms, where it's like I only have 15 minutes, I only have 30 minutes. There's a girl I follow that's postpartum and pregnancy workouts, and she literally makes they're hard too.
Yeah, and
They're good.
dads, same too. There's workout videos for you too.
Yeah.
Just type in like men's running workouts
Yeah.
at home or something.
Yeah.
And or I mean, or you could literally just do this one guy was like he told me he said he only had 10 minutes to work out, so he for 10 minutes straight he just did burpees the entire time. And
Yeah.
he got in a really, really good workout for 10 minutes. All he had was 10 minutes, but he still got a good workout in. So um but yeah, there's all kinds of videos out there, whether your mom, whether your dad, whether you're whatever, and there's workout videos or just workouts in general that you can do that aren't necessarily running, but they'll help you with running by building your strength or endurance.
Yeah.
Like burpees, I mean, that's strength and endurance right
Yeah.
there. I mean, you're gonna be breathing hard and your muscles are gonna be hurting, you know.
Yeah. I
So,
think also too, looking at your screen time, like how much are you doom scrolling?
Charlie,
Hey, I'm not as bad
I'm
with
like, hey, let's
technology.
go, and you're like on the phone, keeps changing music.
Yeah. So
I want to
let's
throw my phone in the freaking trash can, to be completely honest with you.
why?
Because it's like you accidentally doom scroll nowadays, and it's not even on purpose anymore. Like you're on social media and you're like scrolling, and then you're like, oh man, it's been 10 minutes. It's like I could have been doing something for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were hanging out or whatever. And it's just so addicting. And yeah, I just want to throw my phone in the trash.
Yeah.
But I need it for work and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to do that. But
Yeah. I also, this is another encouragement that I want to give to parents. So, I'm going to kind of parallel this. I went to a writing conference and one of the sessions was called The Flow of Writing. And he really talked about, building a consistent habit, what it takes to build a consistent habit of writing. And he compared two authors. He compared C.S. Lewis and he compared J.R.R. Tolkien. And if you don't know who those are, C.S. Lewis wrote The Chronicles of Narnia and J.R.R. Tolkien wrote The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. They were really good friends. They were also Christian, and they became legends not just in the Christian fiction industry, but in fiction, like secular fiction. And he talked about how they both paced. We talk about pace in running. They both paced very differently in their writing. And he talked about how C.S. Lewis could write very quickly. He could publish a book in 30 days. He could write a book in 30 days. He literally wrote the screw tape letters like every month a new letter was out. And J.R. Tolkien was the opposite. And he took nearly 30 years to go from The Hobbit to the first book of The Lord of the Rings. He wrote The Hobbit in the 1930s and he wrote the first book of The Lord of the Rings in the 1950s. And it was really good because he encouraged us no matter how long it takes you to write a book, and I'm going to encourage you with running, no matter how long it takes you to train for a race, you're still a runner. Even if you have kid after kid after kid, or you've never ran a marathon before, or your first 100 race, it doesn't matter if you've ran one race or if you've ran 50 races. If you literally run an ultra every single month, or if you can only run an ultra once a year. I mean, we know a guy, Garrett, who is a really good runner. You know Garrett, I don't know his last name, but he used to be on Texas Outlaw Elite. And he told us, he was on Texas Outlaw Elite a couple years ago and he had a new baby and like life just got super busy. And so his training went a lot slower than it was before. And he's still training for races and he's still running, but just the pace of him racing is a lot slower than it used to be. And so I want to encourage you that in this time of balancing family life, like it's okay to slow down. It doesn't mean you're not a runner and that you're not good and that you're not an elite. Like you are. If you enjoy it, you are that. And look at people. I just love they both became legends, guys.
yeah.
No matter
Um, yeah.
what. You like
No,
cutting me off.
it's just it's okay. I hear her crying in there, but um, we're getting close to our time. So, but which show was good though. I agree. I think that's good. Yeah, I mean, if you kind of need to slow down, like I kind of did that when I was training. I
Yeah.
was pretty high mileage. Then we had Briley, and then I went down to like 3 miles a day, whereas before I was doing like 6 to 8 miles a day.
Yeah.
So if family slows you down, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal.
And
So
the last thing I want to encourage you with is, we're Christians, so we take a lot of our inspiration from the Bible, and one thing it talks about is in Ecclesiastes. It says in Ecclesiastes 3, it says that there's a time for everything, for every activity under the sun, meaning that there's seasons to life. And I think sometimes we get in this routine of thinking everything's going to remain the same our entire life. And it's not, it's supposed to change. Like there's 4 seasons in a year that change and that pace. And so I also think, realizing, okay, for this season of my life, what does running look like? Am I able to be super competitive? I mean, like personally, I want to I want to train for a marathon and I want to try to qualify for Boston. Like I watched the Boston Marathon this past time and I was like, "Oh, I want to try to do it. I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try to do it." And but with the season of life we're in, that's just not a priority right now. That's just not something that, I need to focus on right now. But I can still run and I can still do races. I can do 10Ks, I can do half marathons. I'm training for a full marathon. So I think, as we're talking about this, like really looking at the season of the life that you're in and, saying like, okay, I don't want to derail my responsibilities. I don't want to neglect my responsibilities. I don't want to neglect my family, but how can I fit running in with my family in the season of life that I'm in? Because let me tell you, after your kids leave, you can have all the time in the world to go running.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, we are just all about out of time. I appreciate you guys listening to this podcast, and so a couple of ways you can support it is just by leaving a 5-star review, and then also sharing it with somebody that you think might need to hear this or might find it useful. We do these episodes once a week, every week. Release them on Mondays. So, but yeah, make sure you leave that review and share it with a friend if you want to support it. Um, but
And if you have a question about running or a funny story or an accomplishment, you can email texasoutlawnrunning@gmail.com.
at Gmail. That's it.
And your question or story might be featured on an episode.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all on the next episode of the Texas Outlaw Running Talk Show.
Happy trails.